Nothing but trouble.
There's a spot to sit over here, packed in too with the old speech.
Yeah, and we can grab more chairs. We can pull that one around the side if somebody wants to, but I think we're good. All right, we live?
Yep, we're good.
All right, welcome everybody. This is official start of MN, VR and HCI, whatever month it is. That's what meeting we're at. Order operations, just one presenter tonight, Paul, and I'll get through these slides quick. All right, this is the thing I was just doing. Anybody that hasn't been here before to a VR meeting specifically? How'd you find us?
I came a long time ago.
Okay.
I think it was before it was IGDA.
Do you remember the topic by any chance?
I went to a handful. It was kind of earlier in VR.
Like we were meeting at a totally different place, and
Yeah.
Cool. Well, welcome back.
I have not been to St. Cloud, no.
Just in terms of format, ask questions, move your chairs around, don't be shy. We have no formalities until you get out of hand, then we're really mean. IGDA TC, that's the IGDA Twin Cities chapter. The first part's International Game Developer Association. Here is the board. We got illustrious board member right there. All volunteer, and then a bunch of volunteers. Got a couple over here. If you have any issues, get in touch. We want our meetings to be safe and comfortable for everyone. If you don't want to talk to somebody at the meeting necessarily, don't feel comfortable, email us or hit us up on Discord. If you're interested in doing something, helping out this meeting or starting something totally new, just hop on Discord and give a pitch and we'll probably let you do it. We're starting up a new event, 2 new events in the last month. Here is the new schedule. Brand new, Jam Night. Hey, what's Jam Night?
Yeah, I think there's still a slide in there. If you want.
Okay, we'll move forward to that. Our very, very long running game dev meeting on the second Wednesday. The Twin Cities playtest meeting, which we have a slide. We'll get to that too. And the best meeting, MN, VR, and HCI. You're at it right now. And the other brand new meeting, game.wav, depending on who pronounces it, WAV, which is our brand new one at Hennepin Tech. And then we also have a Women in Games gathering on a Saturday. And that's over at Noble Robot as well.
Oh, and the game.wave.
WAV.
Wow. There's 2 potential locations, and it's at the which one?
It's at the, go back.
Mm-hmm.
It's at that one. Wait.
Yeah, that's why
It's in the, I'm gonna have to,
I
think the Discord is correct. Like that's
yeah,
our address.
yeah.
We can add it to here too.
let me,
Is there more than one?
yes.
Apparently.
Okay.
That was why I called it out.
It's 13100 College View Drive in Eden Prairie. Room H18.
Yeah.
That's in the Discord. So.
It is in the
Details are in the Discord. And what is game.wav?
Game.wave is a game audio discussion / kind of like this, only with game audio. Like, full on. The first topic, first of all, I'm definitely taking submissions for people to talk, because right now I'm going to be the only one doing it for a while. But their first one's going to be like how to talk to clients, how to talk to people about game audio, and it should be fun.
And how to be a client if you're hiring an audio person.
Yeah, and then bring game music or sound effects or whatever you're like. If you're working on something, bring that stuff to the meeting and we can listen, and I'll kind of like give a template for giving feedback. We'll do like live feedback. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Cool.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but it's open to like non-audio.
Yes, it's open to anybody. And then it being at Hennepin Tech, it's going to be open to the student body. So.
And Jam Night, that's new. What's that?
Yeah, so Devs Play Games is getting kind of stale, so we're going to switch it up and try something else for a while here. And so we're going to try kind of see right there that there's one rule of Jam Night, you have to bring something to work on. So you can, bring a laptop or musical instrument or I don't know what else do people use? VR.
Headset.
Headset, yeah. Anything like that. And just jam on something, work on something, and chat to people. And you can bring problems, you can bring questions, things. Me and Eric are going to be there, and I know a lot about Unity. If you have Unity questions, things like that.
What's with the indoor gloves?
The indoor glove. Oh, is that? I don't know why they use that picture. Yeah, my hands get cold really easily, so I have fingerless gloves that I use.
All right, that's cool.
Every time I'm at a computer, so yeah, a little personal note.
So you're saying you use them when they're cool, but your hands are.
It can be 100 degrees out, and I'll still have it inside. Yeah.
But they keep you from being too cool.
Yes. Yes.
All right, moving on. Twin Cities playtest. If you've got a game in any state that is playable, early, late, board game, video game. I don't know if they've done a VR game there, but they would. Get in touch on the Discord and get added. And you'd think you'd want to plan ahead, but everybody does it the day before. But if you can plan ahead, it would be appreciated, I would think. Sponsors, venue sponsors. We are at Rim 5 Studios. Let's hear it for them. And then Noble Robot, not represented, but hosting a bunch of our meetings too. Notably, if you're looking for a co-working space, they do that. And a good time to check it out is at any one of the events, or especially the, what's it called?
Jam night.
Jam night.
Oh yeah,
I gotta work on it. If you'd like to donate, we have a not-for-profit called the Nice Games Alliance that funds IGDA TC. So far, we've only done things like websites, DNS, that kind of simple stuff. But now that it's officially a nonprofit, people that donate can get tax write-offs, and companies love that. Community plugs. I didn't see any on, unless somebody did a last-minute registration. Does anybody want to just shout something out to the group? Carl.
UW Stout on Thursday, May 8th has their SGX, Stout Game Expo. It's going to be a showcase of all the student works from the game design program. There's going to be the level 100 games from the freshmen doing board games, 200 sophomore, 300 exploratory games, and the senior capstone. So what's nice about this semester is it's the end of the year-long groups for the senior capstones. And so there should be some really fun work to see. It's an hour out of cities in Menominee, Wisconsin, just over the border. And come check it out. It's free and open to the public.
Cool.
I got something too.
Thursday, May
Yeah.
8th.
Would you say Thursday, May 10th?
Thursday, May 8th, and I put
May
the details in the Discord.
Nice.
I'll get back over it.
Thank you, Carl. So a lot of you know that I'm part of Space Mesa, a local game studio, and then, I do my own stuff with people. But I actually am starting a new dev studio called Home Ghost. And we haven't really been public. We've been working on stuff for a little while now. But we're working on a disc golf game. And that's currently going to be going into beta soon. I'm not sure when, but yeah. So I'll let you know. I'll let you know more as I
Yeah.
have more information.
Have you put anything on Discord or not yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been really under wraps for a while. So.
Cool. Yeah.
So the game I've been working on, maybe half-time, let's say, for the last 7 years is getting into, open beta territory. And so I'm looking for people to test it. I mean, we've had lots of people test it over the years. And so I guess what makes it a bit complicated for something like Devs Play Games or Playtest is we kind of need people to test like the whole game, like the ending. It's like a 12-hour game. And so I don't know if I'll be posting in the Discord about it, but if anyone would be interested, it's a isometric pixel art, what do you call it? Horror action RPG. It's kind of hard to explain it without seeing it, but we put a lot of work into it. So if anyone would be interested in deeply testing a game, please let me know because we need some critical eyes.
Cool. Yeah, and you could probably start a project on the Discord too and recruit other people that don't come to this. Do you go to the game dev meetings? I don't. Okay. All right. Anybody else? Last call. Last call. Going, gone. Oh, hey, there's more. NiceGames.club is a local game dev podcast and does a lot of different stuff, kind of different topics depending on the week. So check that out. Oh, and another one, Jam-a Jam. I don't know too much about this. Is this weekly? First full weekend.
It's Sam's
Yeah.
thing that she does. It's just an asset.
Yeah, so it's for making art, not necessarily a game. Yep. All right, now, presentations. We only got one, and it's Paul. Come on down.
Hi. I just broke everything. That was a bad idea. Moving that mic. Hi, I'm Paul. Most of you know me, have talked to me before, have been to my house, some of you. This is Theremin for interspecies communication. It's not really about that, but it sort of is. But let's see. I've been working on music software in some form since 2011 or so. I was played in bands, learned trumpet in high school, middle school, high school, learned guitar, played in bands, had some kind of guitar understanding of music theory, which some might say is hacky. And it just kind of occurred to me that, okay, I do all this computer stuff, and software ought to be able to, I ought to be able to like merge software and music for more power and understanding. I'm not sure if that was a good idea or not yet, but I'm still finding out. Theremin is kind of a little bump along the way of a longer journey with music software. I've been VR developing since the DK1 Kickstarter that started. And, always thought VR would be great for understanding, playing with abstract concepts. Motion tracking would be great for just like, some would say music ought to be embodied and less cerebral. And, you could kind of dance more with it and explore space. I feel like I understand space more than symbols. I'm decent at symbol manipulation. I don't really have a mind's eye, so VR kind of helps with that. And so, yeah, theremin. It's a very invisible instrument that's played, if anyone's unfamiliar. You've got an antenna here and an antenna here, and you raise this hand to make it louder, and this hand to change the frequency. And this guy, Leon Theremin, invented it while working on crystals and resonance and military sensors. I thought I would do more research on this, but I didn't. I've been busy. Yeah, he was performing some experiments and noticed that, like on his oscilloscope or whatever he had back then, frequency was changing as he moved his hand. And I guess his lab partner didn't really care, but he soon just kind of had a side project and turned it into an instrument. And I guess he was a cellist, and he started like trying to play some of his cello songs on it, and soon began performing with it. This is him pictured with Clara Rockmore, who's maybe the most famous thereminist. She was like, I guess, the first theremin virtuoso. Has many great performances, albums of classics that you would typically play with voice or strings, and that kind of music lends itself really well to the theremin. Let's see. So yeah, I don't know. It's in a way it's a tuned-off sensor. It's related to VR motion tracking, but it's not a spatial sensor in a strict sense, because it's very nonlinear. The pitches are really close together here, and then there's like sort of a longer, there's more distance in the middle, and it's basically, it's sensing the change in capacitance in the electric field. Let's see. This is, I must have known about theremins before this, but this was like, this TED Talk got me real interested. Pamelia Kirsten, sort of a modern thereminist, and took it out of that like classic strings and operatic kind of singy style. She kind of innovates with it, does, I'm gonna skip ahead. Yeah, the walkie, is that, I think that's later. Jeez. I like refound this today and didn't watch it. I watched it like 15 years ago.
Listen to it, adjust it, just move on normally.
Barely moving at all. Yeah, it might be custom. She was tight with Bob Moog, who Moog produced a bunch of modern theremins, and I think built her a custom one. That does walking bass. Sorry. I don't know. I don't know. Track down the video. And she's got a bunch of increasingly weird music these days. Still theremin oriented, but like pretty wild. A lot of like loop based stuff, and just really, yeah, just kind of crazy tones. Been listening to Carolina Ike a lot in the past week or two as well. Another like modern theremin virtuoso who's doing new and interesting stuff that's different from like the old stuffy classics, which are also very nice. All right, like I said, theremin was kind of a bump along the road, which I'm currently bumping on. My like larger project I've dubbed Musicality VR, and I've been working on that in some form for 5 or 6 years. It started off as just kind of a spatial MIDI controller that controls like piano tech, which is a virtual instrument, a VST keyboard instrument. So like discrete individual notes, and since I came from guitar, I was, I have this desire for everything to be sort of like equally spaced on a grid that I can traverse, rather than a piano, which is like really good for mapping out the C major scale, and everything else you have to learn all your chords once for each key, and with like an isomorphic instrument that is all equally spaced, you can learn chords. You could learn a shape once and just transpose it to wherever you want on the instrument. So that's what this started out as. Yeah, so here's like an early iteration with, there's my Oculus Rift avatar from 2021. And yeah, I just have like this big kind of cylinder of eggs around me that I'm not playing well, I admit, but it's, it works, and it's very low latency. And it's very like embodied. Yeah, that was. I had people who were like trained pianists hop in, and after they took the headset off, they're like, "I think I learned something. Like, I think I learned something new."
Like, what actual layout did you end up with? Was it just like major scale and then like offset?
With that, it's all chromatic, and then like each row jumps up a perfect fifth.
Okay, so not like guitar, you like.
So like a cello.
Okay.
And yeah, I actually for like several years I had a guitar tuned that way.
Okay.
So I was already kind of familiar with that layout, and it lets you. It's not so great for like close guitar chords, but for leads,
Sure.
you get like a lot of range in a small space.
The colors meaning?
The colors, yeah, I have a couple different mappings for colors. This one's probably, so they're all like just around a hue wheel. So, Roy G. Biv with more smooth, but around the circle of fifths. So the idea with that is like colors that are close together are likely to be more harmonious. And I also wanted this to be sort of like a data layer for learning regular instruments, learning guitar and piano. I am allergic to sheet music. I don't know why. I just don't. I don't have the focus for it. I just can't care. I know sheet music somewhat. I can read it slowly, but I'm more interested in playing by ear and sort of navigating on the fly. Now, it's also I don't know. I'm not like that smart, so I can't hold that much in my head. So it's my dream is to come up with some kind of symbolic and spatial understanding of music that sort of presents itself as I'm playing and presents options of where to go from there. I haven't really landed on that yet, but here's a little, this is through the lens of a Project North Star. If it loads. All right, video's not that interesting anyway, so this one's more fun, if this loads. I don't think music necessarily has to be all neat and ordered. It's fun to play with chaos as well, and it's fun to kind of create meaning on the fly and take a bunch of notes and put them in a little cluster or something and just mess around. And I think VR is great for that. Some Unity physics. The numbers are single-digit symbols representing the 12 tone, the 12 notes, 12 EDO. 0 would be C, 2 would be D, so on. There are 2 other symbols in there that are invented. Now, if you'll notice, there's very little latency between those hits and when you hear the sound, and this is not doctored at all. This is remote controlling a professional digital audio workstation. Latency is terrible traditionally on Android, and the Quest is built on Android, and it's better these days. On top of that, we have Unity. Unity only gives you a coarse-grained control over the audio buffer size. So in computer audio, you can't just it's not analog. You can't just generate signal and have it go out into the air immediately. It has to be buffered because other things have to happen. The computer has all this other stuff to do. So you generate your audio in little windows of ideally under 128 samples. That's sort of the sweet spot for me, where percussion instruments feel okay. And as far as I can tell, Unity, the minimum they give you is 256, so you're already starting off like, you might have played Beat Saber and Virtuoso, and there's some other like drum games on the Quest, and they're fun, but they're not that satisfying, to me at least. There's just a little bit enough latency where it just takes me out of it. And it's kind of a constant theme of, I don't know, game audio. I'm interested in this meetup and just like getting in deep. Audio seems to always kind of take a back seat to graphics, and I think we could be doing like way, way better. So anyway, my approach with all this has been to like not even try to address the like Unity audio. What I've been doing is just turning off Unity audio, treating VR as a remote control for a more like dedicated audio system, and that worked out quite well. But there's let's see. There's limitations to that because, I mean, unless you build a whole dedicated audio pipeline, I guess the way I've done it is just use Reaper, and there are VST plugins that can be remote controlled with OSC over UDP. So you can do all this networking locally on one machine or on a LAN, and it's very low latency, but you kind of have to set up all this stuff ahead of time, and you're limited to tens of tracks or something. So and like I can't really make this available for a lot of people. Like there's probably very few people who have the patience and know how to set this up. Like, and it's not even fun for me half the time because like there's so many moving parts. But
Do I see that you're feeding in the VR headset position to do spatial?
Yes. Okay, yeah. So IEM is a plugin suite for spatial audio in a DAW. Spatial audio is, of course, not just for VR. Like it's for production and movies and whatever. But yeah, this whole suite is every plugin lets you configure an OSC channel, and it's all made for OSC communication two-way. Reaper does OSC as well, so I've like dabbled with making a whole like VR DAW controller, and so I'm sending the location and orientation of the headset, as well as any other like audio objects that I want to spatialize, sending it over to a bunch of instances of this room encoder plugin. So this is all an ambisonics pipeline, which puts audio in a sphere around your head, and then projects it to a binaural renderer at the end of the chain. And then right before that, you could put this like visualizer to see where in the sphere the audio energy is coming from. And this outputs OSC, and I'm able to like hook that into a Unity particle system to visualize it like in the space. And that's really cool and helpful. Yeah, but that's all pretty limited. So for a long time, I've wanted to port all that over to standalone. And I have a theremin instrument in this whole, here, I guess let me show you. No. I have a website with some demo videos explaining this project. These wheels are being driven by the DAW. It's sending over MIDI clock, so everything's in like lockstep. I can have samples playing in the DAW, and I can have things triggered in Unity in time. And I could kind of clone these triggers on the fly, interact with them. And you can see here, I've got this inconspicuous little theremin in the corner. So as part of this larger project. We had a lot of thunderstorms last year. So I was out on the deck pretty regularly recording spatial audio to just have going in the background. This is an organ instrument. It's based on like a Hammond B3 has drawbars that you can pull out that let you, you're adding harmonics, so it lets you sculpt the timbre. The one thing that's spatialized is this little sphere here. That's where the audio from this whole organ instrument is coming out of there. Let's see. And then I've got, here's what the theremin looked like 9 months ago. Oh no, it was about a year ago. And that's on PC. And then here it is again with more. So this particular synthesizer that I built for this theremin has a vocal formant built in that you control with a thumbstick.
Can you explain what a formant is for those that don't know?
Yes, yes. Your vowel sounds like it's. We think of them as we just hear them as speech. But if you think of it as audio filters, it's just like 2 or 3 bandpass filters. So if you use like an equalizer on a stereo, put some peaks at a certain key, at like certain key frequencies, and move them around. And there's just like some special combinations that tell us E, A, O, U. That's like what you're doing with your mouth and your tongue. You can think of it as an audio filter, just like you got a resonant chamber that you're modulating in your mouth, and you've got just kind of like a signal in your throat, and you're just passing it through this resonant chamber, which is a form of vocal formant filter. So this is just like as an example of what I like about VR and like the things you can do with these motion controllers. They've got all these buttons and continuous controls on them that can be mapped to all kinds of stuff that we've like traditionally had to use faders and knobs for in the music world. I'm also like exploring alternate tuning systems. So whereas like these integer numbers are like my shorthand for representing 12 piano keys, there's really like within an octave it's continuous. It's not just like it's not natural numbers. It's there's this whole continuous spectrum of potential intervals to play with, and ways of organizing and thinking of them. So like this is my take on this Harry Parch instrument. So Harry Parch, he came up with like a 43 tone per octave scale, and had to build all these instruments out of glass and wood, and had like this whole workshop and a team of carpenters realizing these implementations of just like, okay, I want to play with these numbers, but I live in the early 1900s, and we would have computers to just like spit them out for us. We don't have synthesizers, but we have synthesizers now. But there's still something really beautiful about like the physicality, and we're spatial creatures. So I think that's really important to understanding these ideas. And yeah, so like, how many notes are there? Are there 20? Are there 12? Are there 43? Are there infinite? And this is a graph representing, this is from someone named Paul Ehrlich, who came up with this concept of harmonic entropy. And it's like, how do you quantify how harmonious two pitches are together? And like you can kind of graph, like an octave is very harmonious, a perfect fifth is next best, a perfect fourth is almost as good. There's, it's not just like a trough here. There's all kinds of, there's a lot more than 12 spikes here of interest. So, yeah. So like I don't want to just like work it out on paper. I would want to like interact with it. So like fixed pitch instruments are a step towards that. Unfixed pitch instruments can give you just more freedom to explore. So I figured like, yeah, between that, my desire to like explore all these in-between pitches in a tactile way, and to get off the PC and just like have an easy pop on the headset, have a real instrument in front of me, don't think about setup, don't have to plug in anything. So that's where this theremin project came in. And let me just give you a quick introduction to what that looks like, because I feel like I've been rambling.
I saw it says Max MSP up there. That's come up a couple times when I'm looking for integrations. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Okay. Max MSP is what I wrote the organ synthesizer and that previous theremin synthesizer in. And it's like this, it's a patching environment. It's a what they call graphical programming. So instead of writing C-style code or even Lisp or anything like that, you've got these objects, these modules that you patch together. And if you're a guitarist, you're probably really familiar with stomp boxes and just like plugging things in together, or like modular synthesis. It's like a modular synthesizer, but Turing complete. It lets you just kind of plug all kinds of disparate things into each other and inspect on the fly. So like, here's like the outer view of the routing. So this UDP receive object is, that's where OSC messages come in from Unity or Reaper or wherever, just on the LAN. And this is just like one thing Max can do. And you have inlets. You have inlets at the top of an object and outlets at the bottom, and you plug the in to the out, and you build these assemblages of signal processing and logic. So here's the theremin patch. I've got all my like frequency level, amplitude level. These are just floating point numbers. Thumbstick X and Y, left, right, and then some controls like that you'd get from the knobs. And then there's a square wave generator, and that kind of generates the main voice, and then that flows into this formant filter patch that's the thumbstick kind of lerps between all these little hot spots that are they kind of fade in between sets of like 3 resonant filters that represent vowel sounds. So that's what happens here. I actually only use 2 resonant filters. That's enough to tell what you're trying to say. So like the output of this goes into here and flows into the basically like the frequency setting and the bandwidth of each of these resonant filters, and that gives you the vowel sounds. Let's see if my YouTube loaded. Okay. Here's my theremin. Before turning it on, put your left hand over the amplitude antenna. Point at the power switch, pull the trigger, and now it's on. Frequency is based on the distance from this little pointer to this line, this frequency antenna. And you can see what pitch you'd be producing in space. So if I raise my hand away from the amplitude antenna, you'll hear it gets louder. This knob is for adjusting the lowest hertz, the lowest frequency, which would be out here at the end of the line. This is the lowest C. As you move up the line, here's an octave above that low C. This is also C. Another C. 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 And you can see above the line, you sort of have piano keys, so you can play scale. Now, if this is too long of a reach, you can go to the end of the line and grab with the grip, scoot it up. It's all the same range, condensed into a smaller space. We can start lower or higher. We can start up here. We can reduce the amount of octaves. Just focus on like 1.5 octaves. So you can really dial it in now. There's all this space in between 2 piano keys. We can change the timbre, get some more overtones in there so you can really hear some buzz. We can add some reverb. Maybe crank up the reverb. I'll turn it down because it's excessive.
Crank it up.
And wherever we want. You just grab your trigger, move it, maybe size it. I can also move this speaker. And we can rotate the speaker so it's blasting sound away from us, so we get more reverb that way. Versus. And then the last thing to point out is this amplitude curve, which kind of controls how loud it gets. It's an exponent for amplitude curve, where the x would be the distance from this antenna, and the y would be the amplitude. So it gets a lot more gradual as I go up. I like to keep it around 1.2 or so. You can dial it into, if you've got a really loud 60 hertz hum, your appliances, you could just kind of tune into that and play along. 60 hertz. I think traditionally theremin would be played sort of like this. But I'm not really a thereminist, so I like to look at the notes while I'm playing. It's probably not super ergonomic. But you can place it wherever you want, just like suit whatever configuration you might be in, whatever riff you're trying to hone in on. That's that. Thank you.
Question for you. Do
Please.
theremins have similar controls? Like, did you
Yeah, there's more or less the same controls, and it might be from like a different approach, like on the ether wave theremin, which is the only one I'm familiar with, and that's what that one looks like. You've got kind of like a range, just like how far until you stop affecting the frequency. And I guess like back when I was playing with it, I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just kind of toying around. Apparently they need to be tuned periodically, and you got to open it up and tune some potentiometers in there to make sure the range is like basically within this area. So you can control like the physical range, and then also the frequency range. And then they'll have a knob for waveform, which it seems to be sort of blending between a sine wave and a square wave, but there's probably more to it, and it depends on the theremin, depends on the model and the manufacturer and all that. But yeah, I tried to keep it somewhat familiar, but took some liberties where it was obviously a better UX. So like just being able to grab that is much easier than turning a knob. And then I think Zach recommended putting it in terms of octaves. Like picking how many octaves are you interested in playing with. I initially had like what's the lowest frequency you want, what's the highest frequency you want.
4,000. You'd also mentioned with real theremins, the good players are like twitching a finger.
Yeah. So this does do hand tracking as well. I haven't really dialed it in yet, and it's quite limited if you're familiar with the hand tracking on the Quest. It's sort of, it's stable, but it's slow to update to the new hand position. Yeah, yeah. You can kind of get a little bit more responsiveness out of it with the finger tracking. Like if you're looking at the fingers, currently I just have it looking at the tip of your pointer finger. But I think, you know. Yeah. Eventually I'll like consider all the fingers and do some kind of sum. But I feel like it's just kind of a novelty at this point. The controller's really where it's at. It's just so much more precise. And then you've got buttons and thumbsticks and grips and triggers to. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. In my PC builds, so like I was using, if you hold the grip and just go like this with your finger, there's a proximity sensor on the trigger. That's not just on or off, it's smooth. So like going like this would change the frequency of what do you call it, a vibrato, and then like squeezing the grip would make it more intense.
Is that version still using sound over OSC, or did you?
So this is not. This one is synthesized on the device in Unity. The DSP, I use this language called Faust to compile down to an efficient, like C++ DLL essentially. And then there's a Unity wrapper that calls out to that. And then like my Theremin app talks to the Unity wrapper, updates the parameters in a fixed update loop, which I'm not sure this is the case nowadays, but in the Oculus Rift days and maybe the Quest 2 days, you could get faster updates from tracking if you did it in fixed update and cranked up the physics or cranked down the physics time step. That doesn't seem to be the case now, but I left it that way just because it's not hurting anything, and maybe I could talk to someone at Meta. They don't publish any numbers that I'm interested in, so it's frustrating. But Faust is cool. It's this high level, pure functional, domain specific language for digital signal processing. And it looks like this. This is my whole theremin synthesizer, excluding the reverb and acoustic simulation, but this is it. And then like that outputs this block diagram for free. That's just like part of the language. And there's 32 instances of this. There's 32 sine waves, each at a different frequency for the whole voice. So you have like this base frequency that you're controlling, and then all of those are some multiple of that base frequency. So it exports. They've got a web-based IDE that you can just export to all kinds of different platforms, including Unity, and it ends up you get some plugins for whatever platforms you need: Android, Windows, and then here's basically like this is my theremin fixed update. I'm just setting the parameter here, frequency, exponents for the timbre, and then the amplitude, and it ends up in this wrapper that Faust spits out. If you want to do on-the-fly audio synthesis in Unity, you're going to be basically just using this this Unity event on filter red on a game object that has an audio source, and you're filling a buffer with samples every time this gets called. But I don't have to care about that because Faust does it for me. Yeah. So I don't know. Other things of interest, I guess, in this Quest app. I'm using MRTK3 because I started using MRTK2 when I started the big music VR project a few years ago. And it was fairly painless once I actually got MRTK3 up and running, and had to build it from source on their XRI3 branch to get it to play nice with the Quest. So it's still very like not Quest friendly. There's clearly not like a dedicated Quest team on their governing committee, but it does officially sort of support it. And porting over my code was pretty painless. I learned a little bit about Unity's XRI framework. And if anyone knows or cares about MRTK, it's doing a lot less. It's more of a thin wrapper around what Unity is giving you. But I'm just so used to certain abstractions like those pointers, those bendy pointers, and the object manipulators, scaling and moving things around. Just stuck with it. We'll see where it goes. I'm also using Freya Holmer. I don't know how you say her name, but she's got this shapes package for Unity. Internet's not obeying. That's for the visualizer. So cool thing about that, I used to do kind of recreational graphics programming with processing, which is fun because it's like immediate mode drawing. Rather than setting up all these game objects beforehand, you could just kind of like in a draw loop, okay, I want to do this and this and this time based on these parameters. And you just have all these graphics flying around on the screen, and it's very like off the cuff. You get into a flow. So that's what I used for this. It worked on the PC, but then when I built it on the Quest, I didn't see anything, like not even my game objects. So there's something to figure out there. There's a forum where it's a known issue, but there's a lot of different related issues. So it also supports a retained mode through game objects. So I just ported my like immediate sketch to a more kind of robust Unity style pooled objects kind of system that still does the same exact draw calls and everything. But that was for the visualizer. I guess that pretty much wraps it up. There's a lot of turkeys in my neighborhood. No touch designer.
Because that would be the unholy trinity. Would be maximum speed processing and touch design.
One. I'm not like a Mac person, so unfortunately, I never had the chance to play with Touch Designer. But I know someone who does some like really cool graphics with it, who also got a copy of my Theremin sideloaded on their Quest.
You have to tell the turkey story since you put it in the Theremin.
Yeah, so Zach needed a photo or something. He needed a cover graphic for the event, and so I just went out to show off the pass-through in the park next door, and there were a bunch of turkeys doing their mating thing. I forget what they call it. But not this one. This is from a separate day. That turkey's trying to go to my credit union. It's called Wings, so I could understand why he's confused. I do think it's an interesting idea to just plug into the little headphone jack and take a portable amp and go out there and see what animals care to listen. There's some favorite YouTube videos of people playing trumpet for cows, and like certain elephants, certain animals seem to really enjoy musical instruments.
Publish your Theremin app on Quest
I've been trying. I would have liked to have it as soon as Meta accepts one of my government IDs. Then yes. But if anyone would like to sideload it, just hit me up and I'll add you to my Google Drive. A cool feature that I didn't really show off is that if you have multiple headsets with it in the same room on the same local area network, they'll just automatically talk to each other and you'll see each other's theremin. There's a manual step in like putting an anchor point on your floor in like a similar spot to align the play spaces. Yeah, they just communicate real cheap with OSC over UDP. I'm not sure how many can reasonably connect together, but so far two.
You should see what go over to Yard House and do dueling theremin. The next big thing, downtown Minneapolis revival.
Dueling virtual therapy.
Did you end up using the reverb you recorded here?
Oh no, not yet. I haven't got around to that. I have a sick hobby of popping balloons in public spaces. There's like a giant parking garage underneath this building, I think, underneath here. And late at night when it's empty, if you clap your hands, you'll hear like some ridiculous slapback reverb. Yeah. So a few of us last month popped some balloons down there with the in between. Yeah, they're playing music over the PA, so we had to wait for a few songs to finish, and then all right, pop a balloon. That 3D scan did not work out. You could tell that it's a space. I just kind of like did a quick video and plugged it into. Last month, I guess Meta released I guess it's an LLM-based photogrammetry-like system that's very fast and like pretty accurate for some things, and I think it wants you pointed in rather than out. But yeah, I'll use an iPad next time.
Is the audio output from the Quest kind of like, the content you make with theremin, is that royalty free?
Is it royalty free? I'm not gonna sue anyone. I guess I have to do like some kind of privacy policy, and yeah, I mean it's synthesized.
Yeah, it's frequency.
Yeah.
I'm just curious because it'd be cool to actually record it and use it.
So I have been using it as a real instrument. It's really important to me that it's not a toy. So I've been practicing real songs with it, and I did an online jam with it last week on Ninjam. If anyone's familiar with that, it's something that comes with Reaper. It's like a 2000s era chat room with live feeling audio from people around the world. It does a little trick of adding delay to make it seem like there's no delay. It's like kind of a loop-based jamming platform. And so I was playing theremin on there for like 4 hours, and it was pretty fun.
Have you thought about recording the input so that somebody could play back a song that someone else wrote?
Oh yeah, totally. I thought I would have implemented this already, but yeah, definitely like a kind of a looper where you see a ghost of yourself. That's also yeah, for sure.
That's the extra thing
Uh-huh.
do something. But if you just like loaded the app the first time and you just said, what does all this do?
Yeah.
You just need to record yourself doing that thing. Actually, you did already, right?
Yeah.
Put that in the app.
Yep. I'll probably put a browser in the app. You can, like, what I've been doing is just using the system browser, pulling up a track on YouTube, and then going back into my app while it plays and playing along. So it's perfectly capable there. It's a little clunky, so it'd be better to have just a built-in browser. And then I've got a website that's it's like music oriented and connects to MIDI and OSC and stuff. And I feel like that would be my path to, I guess, learning content and all kinds of stuff. I'm trying to figure out how to just keep this at the bare minimum of features so I can actually get it published, and then add like some add-on packs that's I mean, make a little more money, but mainly just to see what people actually want and let them a la carte kind of get features like controlling a real DAW and like a VST plugin. That could be a separate thing, like for producers, or like have it control MIDI, like use your own, bring your own VST, your favorite synth, and just have this as a continuous control for who knows what, dubstep.
Then you just save presets too.
Presets, for sure.
So I know for the Quest, it's generating it on there locally, but
Yeah.
could you, over a local area network Wi-Fi connection, control something on like a PC?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
sweet.
I mean, it does that
It does that
already.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So, like, you had the videos that were like theremin virtuosos, which like, how does one become a virtuoso? Are they declared one?
Yeah, you just got to prove yourself. 10,000 hours of practice, and then you go out there and prove yourself. And once you get hired enough, I think, yeah.
I guess more to the point, my actual question was like, do you know of anyone who's like does like performance art with virtual instruments? Like it's a sort of newish thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've dabbled. I'm working on it, but yeah, I don't. I'm kind of in a bubble. Really, like too focused on my own shit at the moment. I think there are people who do that.
Because it seems like an interesting space where there's like plenty of people who do electronic music now.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah. There's,
creating their own like virtual instruments to
I
USB loop pedals. So you make theremin loops, basically.
yeah.
Do you have one?
If you said that I need to have one for tomorrow, then I do. Like, yeah.
Going back earlier, you showed us the different structures of notes, and I played trombone for years.
Oh, cool.
So you know, like there's this range that can be close but not quite on.
Uh-huh.
Years ago there was a MIDI controller called the Axis 64, and when I saw that come out, it was like, oh, this makes sense, because instead of memorizing all the black and white keys for scales, it was
Hexagons, right?
It was second. Here's a third.
Yeah.
Here's a fourth and a fifth, and you could do large ranges with these little hexagonal pieces. You talked about the theremin as a range. You talked about a guitar you tune and cello. What do you go to when you want to perform, relax? Like, what's your go-to method in this?
The Axis 64, that's like that hexagon thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've got a Lumitone, which is sort of like the modern Cadillac version of that.
Okay.
And which is it's got 280 hexagon keys that light up, and it's programmable. You can do whatever you want with it. So that's just like sitting on my desk all the time. So anytime I need to take a break from work, or if I'm just like, oh, I like that riff, let me like kind of figure that out. It's just right there. So that's I guess my go-to now. And I'm not great at piano, but it took me like a few months to get about as good as I am on piano on that thing. I think just the regularity is really, it's really powerful.
The video you showed of the looping cycle with the little spinning spheres moving over, that reminds me a lot of a sequencer,
Uh-huh.
application I used on the Mac in the mid-90s.
Mm.
I think it was called Noodle, and I played for hours on that.
Nice.
And I've lost, I don't know if it's just lost in the Internet Archives or it's gone forever, but that's something I would share with you if I can find it.
Well, Noodle, I'll look that up. I'd love to see that. Love some inspiration. Yeah, it's definitely a sequencer in a way. It's not discrete. It could be discrete. Like I could put like little docks, like kind of break the circle up into 16 or 32 or whatever. But at the moment, it's just like it's very. I like the idea of just being, using the force. like just use your ears and like force yourself to listen and make adjustments. But I also like chunky sequencers too. They're fun.
Did you think about doing any stuff that's like things you couldn't do on a real theremin, like having a trigger, like holding a trigger to discretize the intervals, or like change it to like only major scale or things like that? Like, I guess is that like against the rules of the theremin?
It's so like Moog has one. Moog has a Theramini that has a discrete mode that will output MIDI. So if it's against the rules, they already broke the rules. Yeah, I don't. Who cares about rules? Yeah.
With the earlier one with like the arrangements of bubbles and stuff, like, did you find any particular one actually useful? So like for me, I play guitar too, and I always kind of feel like it's just so much easier than piano. But
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like it's like, no, at the end of the day, you kind of just have to memorize things sometimes. Or like
Yeah.
I'm never quite sure. Like I got a launch pad, it has
Yeah, nice.
the square,
Uh-huh.
and this is gonna change everything.
Yeah.
You can do whatever, and it's kind of useful, but it's never like like life changing. Like, have you found any particular arrangements of things that really make it more creative, etc., or is it kind of all the same?
There's trade-offs with every single one, so it's like, yeah, I haven't found like a real like golden ticket kind of arrangement. But I think music is, yeah, I like maybe like 10 years ago I thought, oh, there must be like some kind of like best layout that will plug directly into my brain that's gonna make me like awesome, and I'm gonna realize all of the sounds that I want to make in the moment. And I don't know. It's probably not a thing. It's more of just like be happy exploring and come at it from as many angles as you can. Like I still go back to guitar. I like guitar. I like just totally arbitrary tunings with guitar. I like rolling the dice that way. I don't know. I personally lack the focus to go very deep on any one instrument or arrangement. So, someone else might have a different answer for you. But I'm just trying to be happy jumping around and staying interested. And I think our brains kind of want to understand things in multiple ways. It's it's a network. It's not a computer program.
I had a question about the reverb on your theremin. It sounded like it was additive, like so there wasn't like a wet dry.
Yeah, yeah. It could get more like I could get more in depth with that, but
I was just curious how you kind of went about that.
yeah. So this is I'm just leveraging Meta's acoustic simulation. So they've got it's a shoebox model of reverb.
Like a church verb or something. Sounded like it was kind of long.
Yeah, it is spatial. I'm pretty sure like if you hear an echo coming from over there and turn your head, the echo will stay over there because it's just Unity's like it's Meta's XR audio plugin for Unity. They have.
Well, you kind of oddly built in a wet and dry by being able to turn the speaker.
Yeah. It's like.
Which is really interesting to think about like that.
There's the knob which is wet and dry, but yeah, there's also the speaker, like the spatial aspect. It's
that was the most interesting part of it to me. I thought that was really cool. How does that output like through a stereo out? You know, like does it? Well, I guess it's probably
headphone jack.
Yeah, like how does it output the spatial sort of variation? I guess.
Well, it all depends on where your head's at.
Yeah.
Because it's doing binaural kind of projection with the HRTF. And then it's just whatever you hear gets.
What if you wanted
output.
a direct sound?
If you wanted a direct sound.
Out.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I could just change. I could make it so my Faust DSP doesn't go into a Meta XR audio source, and just route it to something else.
Yeah.
You could
That would be interesting.
just create an array of quests, starting off with one, and then just have a 10-channel Sonic.
Yeah, let's go that route.
That's the most sensible.
You've actually convinced me.
Like going right back to the latency stuff from the beginning,
Yeah.
what is just the gold standard latency? Because I would assume with Unity, like the 124 versus 260, like those are both still tiny. I'm assuming there's other things making it worse. Like what's just hardcore? This has to be as low latency as possible. Like what do you do?
It depends. It depends, like what instrument you're playing. If you're, and it depends who you are too. Like I was perfectly happy with like a 128 sample buffer, playing a sample-based virtual piano, and then like I had a real pianist friend come over. He's like, "Ugh, there's so much latency. I can't really play my Chopin." So yeah, like if you're playing percussion, it matters a lot more. I think there's a reason why you only see like rhythm games, because you could do tricks like it's kind of predetermined when you're gonna hit this thing or not. But for things like really like musician-y stuff on the fly, it's not satisfying.
I mean, is Unity and like if you do Unity in 256 mode?
Yeah.
Is that like as fast?
That's as fast as Unity will let you do.
Sure, but like is a raw driver running at 256 mode the same, or is that better?
To my ear, it's about the same. There's maybe a little more, but it's really hard to tell. Like, I don't have any like scientific apparatus set up.
Is like the really good stuff running at like 64? Like you get like
Yeah,
really
so I've got an outboard, well, sort of like this Focusrite. If you ever do any like audio production, like I've got a Motu Pro Audio outboard thing that I can get it down to 16 samples. Not with any of the spatial stuff. Like the spatial stuff kind of craps out below 128 or 64, depending on how many plugins I have running. 64 is kind of like what I shoot for as a good balance between like, I mean, I can't really perceive much of a difference below that, and below that, it's also really like unstable. You get buffer underruns. But I would say 64 for a gold standard for percussion.
And so Unity just doesn't allow that straight up? So
No.
Well, and part of it too is like different systems will, like you get the 64 sample buffer,
Yeah.
samples, or however many it is.
It's kind of opaque oftentimes, like what else is between there, right?
Right, yeah, so that maybe represents like 3 milliseconds worth of samples, but then there's multiple of those buffers that
Mhm.
you have to go.
True.
So you still like, so like the smaller you get it, the more, if you have the size of those buffers and there's 10 of them or whatever, you have the whole latency of the whole system.
Does middleware, like, would that help? Because you're not using the audio engine of.
Potentially.
Yeah.
And I started looking.
You're kind of like preloading samples in there then, which I guess you are in Unity too, but.
Yeah, I mean, you're always gonna be buffering, but yeah, if you have more control over like what's in between you and the buffer, and there's.
You can also bake files, and then like they can be more. They can. There's less latency because there's less computing. Like.
That's not my bottleneck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I see.
it's not really doing much. The
Yeah.
synthesis is really cheap.
Yeah.
I did some research. There was some effort from Google. There's kind of like a low latency audio. I don't know what to call it. I have yet to find out if it'll work on the Quest. But it's been like a long running issue with Android itself. So that's one potential path forward. There have been some like custom drivers written for Android apps. Like there's an Android DAW that can get pretty low latency. Then you miss out on the Unity spatialization.
Yeah.
So there's just trade-offs everywhere.
If you were, like use like Wise or FMOD or something like that, like they have spatializers.
Yeah.
Within them.
As far as I could tell, FMOD has a similar amount of latency.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely interested in finding out.
I don't know. I'm curious.
Yeah. Anyone else?
We can wrap it up
You
there.
go to the bar?
Yeah, let's hear it for Paul.
Thank you.